Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk time.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome to the program on your Thursday afternoon. Glad to have you along with us. As always, an absolute treat to talk to you folks every day. Well, we've got 89 days until the midterms. Can the Republicans pull out, and which would really be an upset, because historically, the party that's in the White House, they don't do very well during the midterms. And I think with what's coming out of the Senate, which is absolutely nothing, they're going to have a pretty hard time. So we'll see what happens. Now, John Thune, we're going to be talking about him coming up in a little bit. But he's like, oh no, you guys got to turn all of your fire onto the Democrats. Wait a minute, hold on. You're the Republican leader. We should have enough votes to get some of this stuff done without needing the Democrats. And the easiest way to do that is to get rid of the filibuster. So I'm pointing it at John Thune. And again, we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Well, it's day 2 of early voting in the special primary election, Republican primary election here in South Carolina. Day 1, I'd have to go back and look at some of the previous special elections, because you gotta do apples to apples on these things. But taking a look at it, I'm not seeing. I would say it was fair. It was a fair turnout yesterday. Okay, first day early voting, we had 22,106 people voted. 22,000 here in Greenville. Let me just scroll down to Greenville here. We did really well in Greenville County. 2,228. Greenwood had 428. Horry County, they led the pack here with 2,563. Pickens County, you folks had 662 people early vote yesterday. Richland County had 828. Spartanburg, 1,132. York County, 1,080. But like I said, number one was Horry County, and they had, let me just, where are you, Horry County? Horry County, where did y'all go? I was telling Peggy, I wonder how Horry County is going to do. Yeah, 2563. They led the pack. Coming in, way in the back, is Hampton County, 4. I think they might only have, I gotta check that. I think they might only have 4 Republicans in Hampton County. I'm not real sure, but I think 100% of the Republicans in Hampton County voted yesterday in the early election. So who are you guys voting for? How was the voting experience? We had several people show up yesterday to vote, and they were like, nope, this is not where you vote. But I mean, that is one thing they've got to get a much better handle on over at scvotes.gov. Now, if you're wondering where you're supposed to be voting, that is where you go. And I told you guys yesterday, before you leave the house to go vote, go to scvotes.gov and make sure that you're going to be voting in the right place, because I don't want you driving all over town. Because you see, that increases the likelihood that you're not going to vote in this election. And I think everybody needs to get out there and vote. So you guys let me know, how was your voting experience yesterday? And if you did not vote yesterday, are you going to vote today? You got about an hour and a little under 50 minutes now to get out there and vote in today's early voting. And then it will open back up tomorrow at 8:30 for the final day of early voting. And then, of course, we'll have the primary proper coming up on Tuesday. And that will determine who the Republican candidate is going to be for the United States Senate to run against Dr. Annie Andrews. Somebody wanted to know how Anderson County did. I thought I gave you, 934. 934. Charlie, I voted in Greenwood today. I was the only voter there the whole time. Wow. Charlie, if this were a Democrat special election, their numbers would be triple. You might be right. you might actually be right. But we're going to see. Charlie, Greenville County yesterday, 5 minutes in and out. It is such a quick process. It really is. I don't understand why people say, "Oh, I don't have time to vote." You don't have time not to vote. You got to get out there and do it because we got to make sure. I mean, this seat is, and I've told you this before. This seat is not only very important here in the United. I mean, this is one of the most important seats in the world to be in the United States Senate, and we got to make sure we get the right person in there. So let me know, you guys out there, any other counties you would like to know. I'd be happy to break those down for you. Cherokee County had 381, but again, 22,106 people early voted yesterday. I'm going to expect that's going to be a lot lower today, and that's a shame. That's a shame, but we'll see what happens Election Day. Charlie, 2 votes for Ralph Norman from Spartanburg County coming tomorrow. All right. Charlie, I live in Greenville County, but I work in Spartanburg County. Can you early vote in Spartanburg? No. You have to vote in the county that you are registered to vote in. So make sure you know that. Charlie, I consider Pickens pretty big. The only place they told me to early vote in this county is Pickens itself. That's a long drive for quite a few people. I understand. I wish every county had at least two places to vote. I really do. Somebody wants to know about Newberry County. How many people showed up in Newberry County? 262. Oconee County, let's see, 712 voted in that. So there you go. So anyway, I don't expect the numbers today to be bigger than yesterday, and I expect the numbers tomorrow to be even less. But don't let that dissuade you from getting out there and voting. Charlie just voted early. McAllister Square, continuous long line, moved quickly. That is great. Charlie, conservatives in South Carolina are tired of picking the least of two evils when they're all corrupt. You're right. Somebody wanted to know about Lexington County. 1,778 folks voted in Lexington County. Charlie, it is completely stupid. If you live in South Carolina and you register to vote, you ought to be able to vote anywhere because people work for a living. Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. Now, this is just the early voting, though. This is just the early voting. When you go to Tuesday, you're going to be able to vote within your district. All right? So, again, before you leave the house on Tuesday or before you get off work and you go to the polls because they close at 7 on Tuesday, check scvotes.gov. Make sure you've got the right place to vote. Greenville County has a whole new setup with a lot more voting machines, so it goes a lot quicker. That's always good to know. That's always good to know. All right, when we get back, well, the communist left, and that's exactly what they are, they require something of you. We'll tell you what that is coming up next. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, the left, they love to claim that Donald Trump is an authoritarian. They love to claim that. And it's more like, Charlie, Donald Trump is an authoritarian. You know it. He just wants to be a king. That's all he wants to do. No, notice they never say no dictators. They always say no kings, but they never say no dictators. Well, that's what they're going to have with their brand new socialism. I mean, you want to get rid of the Senate. You want to get rid of the Supreme Court, or even worse, pack the Supreme Court. Well, somebody's got to lead all of that stuff, and that is going to be the benevolent dictator that they want to elect. They always talk about authoritarianism, but the strange thing about the left, if you notice, you can't disagree with them on anything. You have to be in with them, all of their ideologies, whole cloth, 100%. No deviation whatsoever. I want you to listen to Hasan Piker. He's a big ally of Abdul El-Sayed, who just won the Senate primary in Michigan. I want you to listen to this guy talking about the Democrat Party, while, by the way, wearing a Mao Zedong suit. Here we go.
No more to Trumpism, but no more to the Democrats who compromise, who conciliate, and who betray us. No more to the fascist reactionaries, but no more to the Democrats who will collaborate and cooperate with the fascists, who will fund ICE, who will fund Israel, who will help poison the planet, who will stiff workers and help bosses. We don't need those Democrats anymore. In fact, we have a message. We are coming. We are unbossed, we're unbought, we're unbound, and we will become undeniable.
Undeniable. Yes, great dictator. Thank you. Oh, benevolent one. We do appreciate that. So, Abdul El-Sayed defeated Haley Stevens, a so-called, I love the way they describe her, a moderate candidate. Well, if you look at Abdul El-Sayed, and you compare Haley Stevens with him, well, maybe she's moderate-ish for that side of the party. Now, remember, they're still on the radical left side of the party. So maybe she appears moderate when standing next to him. But listen to what Hasan Piker said about the people that did not vote for Abdul El-Sayed.
Like everyone being like, Abdullah has a ton of work to do mending bridges. Here's the take nuke for you, okay? You are all unbelievably Islamophobic pieces of okay?
Yeah. Oh, if you didn't vote, you see how they do? It's always like that. 100%. You have to agree with them on everything. Everything, or you're cast out. You're done. So there is no mending fences with Abdul El-Sayed. There's certainly no mending fences with Hasan Piker. I want you to listen to what James Carville said. It's pretty amazing. This is how bad. Now, would you consider James Carville a moderate Democrat? No, not at all. He's out there on the left as well. But listen to what he says about Hasan Piker.
Analyst there is, and I'm not sure what to understand what Madonna is doing, but to talk about the larger Democratic Party post the election in Michigan going forward, I am not going to be in the same party with Hasan Piker. I can tell you that right now. If he becomes a force in the Democratic Party, I'm out of here. I have no intention of ever being in the same political party with that guy. Now, I think that overwhelming majority of Democrats agree with me. But this idea that we're going to seize the means of production and just go look at the DSA platform. You don't have to look any further than that. And, Jackie, it may be that the two-party system is just going to be under tremendous stress here in the coming months. I mean, you see it in with Tucker and Martin Taylor Greene and on the.
Well, I hate to break this to you, James Carville, but you are in the same party as Hassan Piker. Not only do you have Hassan Piker talking about taking the means of production, you've got money. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's what the Democrats stand for. Let's go to let's skip on that right now. But that's where they are. That's the direction that the Democrat Party is heading. Now, on one hand, is it good? Well, maybe. Would it be easier? Because now what we can do is we can take people like Dr. Annie Andrews, and we can say, oh, Dr. Annie Andrews, you're a Democrat, right? Yes, I am. Well, then, that's the group you're in. Then what I want you to do, Dr. Annie Andrews, I want you to condemn Hassan Piker. I want you to condemn Abdul El Sayed, who took money from Hamas groups, by the way, for his campaign, known link to terrorism. I want you to condemn that wing of the party. Hold their feet to the fire and watch the civil war begin. Make them, call them out. Every time, I forget the Democrat's name that's running over in the 7th. Call him out. Make him stand up in front of the cameras. Make all of them stand up in front of the cameras and condemn that wing of the Democrat Party. If they will condemn them, guess who's coming after them? If they won't condemn them, that tells you everything you need to know. Let's go to Paul in Welford. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, Charlie. You
Hey,
know
bud.
what? I'm thinking back in the 70s when all our guys went over and built all the oil wells and stuff like that. They couldn't have no Bibles. They couldn't take no beer. They couldn't do this or that.
Yeah.
You know what? When these guys are coming here, man, they're getting everything they want.
Yeah.
And they're here for one reason and one reason only. They're going to take over.
They do not
And
want to
you know what?
assimilate.
We are infidels, and they want to kill us. And once they get here, you can see what they're doing up in New York right now, that call to prayer and all that.
Yeah.
You know, here, if they've done that, that'd be like disturbing the peace.
Sure.
You got a noise ordinance, so I don't know how they get away with that. But
Dearborn, Michigan.
There we
Look,
go.
they play it 5 times a day.
here we go, Charlie.
Here we go.
Get ready.
You're right, Paul. You are right. In fact, I saw a report today that there's something going on in Africa. Now, remember, a large portion of Africa is Muslim. All right? There are apparently thousands of military-age men amassing in the desert, and they are being escorted through the desert. Everybody believes they're heading to Europe. Everybody believes. We saw what happened in Spain. We saw what happened. I mean, Spain just basically rolled over. But this is what they want. It's called the red-green axis. And the commies on the left, I know, redundant, but the commies, they're trying to align with the Muslims to fight everybody else. Because they think that when they win, they're all going to share in the glory and they're all going to share in the victory, but that is not going to be the case. The green, the Islamic wing of the red-green axis, they're not going to tolerate these folks because they're infidels too. They're using them as a way to the means. And that means is taking over this country. And if you don't believe that, well, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Well, the Senate today voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt. We'll tell you all about that. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
A native Georgia bulldog who bites back at big government. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, things just not looking good for Dr. Death Fauci. Today, this happened. It was pretty amazing.
Seeing no other motions, the question is on reporting of an original resolution regarding contempt of Congress. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Yes.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Ernst. Aye. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan. No. Senator Blumenthal. No. Senator Fetterman. No. Senator Kim. No. Senator Gallego.
No by proxy.
Senator Slotkin.
No by proxy.
Senator Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 2. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5, and the motion is agreed to.
So the motion is agreed to, ladies and gentlemen. They have indicated, well, it was a resolution to find Dr. Fauci guilty of lying to Congress. And it pretty amazing that it passed. He sat there and invoked his Fifth Amendment over 100 times in that meeting that we saw just the other day. Now, this sets up a bit of a showdown over the power of a presidential pardon. Okay, because remember, he gave a sweeping, pretty much an unconditional pardon for his time as the director of the NIH, as he worked under Joe Biden. Now, Senator Rand Paul says that Fauci's right to remain silent is invalid because Biden granted him a sweeping federal pardon. And since the pardon eliminates federal prosecution risk, Paul says that Fauci cannot legally refuse to answer a congressional subpoena. Now, Fauci's defense team, they say he remains on solid ground because a federal pardon provides no protection against potential state or local prosecutions. So where do we go from here? Well, that is uncharted territory because Senator Rand Paul has indicated that he intends to bypass a full Senate floor vote, which of course has the 60-vote threshold, and send the criminal referral straight to the Department of Justice. That's going to be interesting, especially when we see that they now have Dr. Anthony Fauci's iPhone. That Senator Johnson got Fauci's iPhone. Oh, the things they're going to find in there. Let's go to Dean in Cashville. Dean, welcome.
Hello, Charlie. Charlie, I just wanted, you mentioned the red-green axis of the communists and the Islamists.
Yes.
I recently finished a lecture series on the partition of Pakistan. When India was split from Pakistan, there was East Pakistan and West Pakistan. East Pakistan became Bangladesh. The PPP, the Pakistani, they were socialists.
Yeah.
They were led by a man named Bhutto. Here's what people need to know. The Bengali Muslims in what is now Bangladesh, East Pakistan, they were darker than the Muslims in Pakistan. 500,000 were ethnically cleansed.
Yeah.
And when I say ethnically cleansed, when you take the army officers in the army who are from the Bengali ethnicity and you kill them just because of that, that's ethnic cleansing. These were socialist Muslims.
Yeah.
And I just thought I'd mention that to people. Charlie knows what he's talking about. These are not inclusive, friendly people.
No. And they're not going to include the Democrats in their little reindeer games either. They're going to start getting rid of them quickly. Well, I mean, they're already doing it. Remember, standing outside of that event with Hakeem Jeffries, chanting, "You're next, you're next." But here's the thing. This whole phenomenon with the new socialist / communist / Marxist / Bolsheviks, that was a baby that was birthed by the Democrat Party. So I'm just going to sit back, pop some popcorn, watch that happen. I've been seeing on some of these programs where some of these commentators, they almost sound like they feel sorry for these Democrats losing these races. I don't feel sorry for them. No. That's your fault. That is 100% your fault. You did this to yourselves. You hated Donald Trump and the MAGA movement so much that you allowed and are allowing these people to come in and run roughshod over you. You get what you deserve. I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. I really am. Good for you. Good for you. So there you go. But getting back to Dr. Fauci. So now Rand Paul going to go straight to the DOJ. We'll see how that works out. But now that they've got Fauci's iPhone and the diary, I don't know if it was stupidity or hubris that made Dr. Fauci keep his diary on a government server. It wasn't even like he went home and, dear diary, you won't believe what happened today. It wasn't even that. It was like, hold on, no, hold my calls. I got to put a diary entry in here. Dear diary, today I talked about droplets and masks. That's what I talked about today. Oh, the media loved me. This guy was what an egomaniac. But, the media's out there defending Fauci now. Oh, they are defending him left and right. Because I know one thing. The whole time during COVID, you were right. You were right. Now, I know that's no great solace. Sometimes, being right is one thing, but when so many people died, so many people's lives were upended by this guy, it doesn't give us any solace. It does make us mad. It makes us mad. But the media's out there just absolutely seething over the fact that Dr. Fauci is being held accountable. They are seething over it.
Republicans holding a show trial for Dr. Anthony Fauci, one of the doctors who worked on the pandemic.
What you're doing is you're staging nothing but a show trial.
Another Republican show trial. We got a show trial. We got a circus.
Senator Blumenthal was right. It was one of the darkest days in our Senate's history.
Republican senators seized on the documents Paul released before the hearing. More than 1,000 pages of Fauci's personal diary.
Hundreds of pages of Dr. Fauci's personal diary.
Rand Paul, who, by the way, was always a libertarian, and yet he released Dr. Fauci's personal diary. By the way, Rand Paul, next week I'm going to tear you a new asshole for that.
For everybody's awareness, since there's a lot of noise, there's nothing in...
Now, anyway, the media out there just completely falling all over Dr. Fauci, defending him. But we were right. Let's go to Richard in Caesar's Head. Richard, welcome.
Yeah, afternoon, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
I was looking at the Fauci debacle there, a couple of days ago, and I was wondering if one of the congressmen, what Fauci would have said if they said, "What is that nameplate in front of where you're sitting? What's it say? What is it?" And would he say, "Well, I can't talk because it's going to incriminate me"?
Yeah.
Well, then he can't even say his own name, or just say, "What does the MD stand for?"
Yeah.
What is that? And see what he would say if he says, "I can't say what it is." I mean, we've heard other things too. People don't even know what the definition of a woman is for a man. So
listen, they made Fauci look like an absolute imbecile in that.
I'm so happy.
Oh yeah, I am too. I appreciate it, Richard. We'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show, News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tough on issues, sharp with facts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, you got a little over an hour left to get out there and early vote for today. Again, the polls will open again tomorrow, the early voting, 8:30 to 5. The polls close this afternoon at 5 o'clock. All right, so you went to work today. Maybe you're still at work. And you earned your money. You earned your salary. And you do things with that salary, like housing, paying your electric bill, paying your car bill, paying your insurance, buying food. But with all of the things that you spend your money, that you spend your money when you get paid, of all the things that you spend your money on, there is one thing that reigns supreme: taxes. Americans pay more in taxes than they do in food, clothing, and housing combined. So when you go to work every day, the number one thing, think about that. The number one thing that you're paying isn't your mortgage. It's not your insurance. It's taxes. All levels of government, calendar year 2025. All levels of government. Now, this is going to sound kind of strange because I'm just going to use billions here. All right? Just going to use billions. Americans paid $8,192 billion. Now, when I say 8,192 trillion, I'm talking about $8 trillion. Trillion. But what did they spend on on just their necessities? $7,388 billion. That's pretty amazing. It really is. Let's go to Ken in Nebo. Ken, welcome. Wait a minute, hold on. There you go. There you are, Ken. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Always good to talk to you, and I appreciate the opportunity to get a word in. I really enjoy this. The Dr. Fauci story, this is somewhere where, I guess my first question is let you start off and try to help me understand how much trouble that Mr. Fauci is in. And I keep hearing about his policies created more deaths than there should be. And then I did a little research on another flu bug that killed a lot of people back in 1918. So to start with, would you tell me, and I know the gain of function connection to China is maybe American Institute of Health or CDC money went.
Yes.
They cooperate with the Chinese a lot. But whether there was some nefarious things going on there.
Wait. Hold on, Ken. When you take a virus, and I knew you're talking about the Spanish flu, that was a naturally occurring thing. The Spanish flu. They took the coronavirus and they made it more virulent. They made it more communicable. They made it where it could reproduce more quickly.
Was it with nefarious purposes?
Why else would you do it?
Well, they were maybe experimenting.
Okay. Well, let's say it was experiment. Why would you need to do that to experiment with it?
Okay, please don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling. I'm not yelling. I just want to know why else would you take a virus and make it more deadly if it wasn't nefarious?
In laboratories, they study every virus.
Okay, so hold on. You're going to get on here and you're going to defend what Fauci did?
No. You see, you're putting words in my mouth.
Well, I want to know. No, sorry, Ken. Yep, you're gone. Let's go to Dave. No, don't have time to that. Got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms at times here this afternoon with partial sunshine developing, high of 87. Tonight, chance for rain and storms, low of 70. Friday, chance for rain and storms, late high of 87 and highs around 90 for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Currently, it's 88.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir, and we are back. Let's go to Dave in Spartanburg. Dave, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Charlie. Hope you are. Get
Yes,
to start off the 4 o'clock hour, a little breaking news, and I hope you're sitting down because you ain't going to believe this.
What's going on, Dave?
So fresh off the Epoch Times, not sure how you pronounce it. They're pretty reliable, though.
Yeah.
Guess what? The timing on this is just too perfect. It's just too perfect. Guess what's coming out of China? They now have pandemic levels of COVID-19 going on in China.
No.
How about them apples?
Do
How
they
about
really?
them apples? How about, is the timing not perfect? Fauci's, going to knock Fauci off the list. Hey, I got to run out and go get some toilet paper and hand sanitizer real quick.
Oh,
If you
my
listen
gosh.
close,
Yeah.
If you listen close, you can hear the spin machines cranking right now.
Yeah.
Oh, the fear mongers are going to love this. But yep, COVID level pandemic in China. How about that?
That's wonderful,
Well, they
Dave.
don't even bother to change the playbook, you know?
Yeah.
It worked once. Hey, let's do it again.
Exactly right. I can't believe
Have a
it.
good one, Charlie.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it, buddy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yep. What do they want to do it again? Want to do it again? Well, there you go. Well, and speaking of that, what did Dr. Fauci do? What were all these people doing? They were telling you, don't take ivermectin. Do not take ivermectin. Oh, no, it's horse dewormer. Oh, it's horse paste. Oh, no. Well, now we know that ivermectin, in fact, Senator Ron Johnson, at that meeting or that hearing with Dr. Fauci, he held up just hundreds of pages of studies showing the efficacy of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine in treating people with COVID. It was a bunch of studies, a bunch of them. So there was a plan here in South Carolina, and it was a good one. Why don't we let ivermectin here in South Carolina be sold over the counter? Well, that's a brilliant idea. I mean, this is a Nobel Peace Prize winning drug. It is on the World Health Organization's list of necessary drugs. Essential drugs is what they call it. It has almost, you would have to literally take just handfuls and handfuls of ivermectin to have any sort of bad reaction to it. So there was a plan to make it be, have it over the counter here in South Carolina. It passed the House almost unanimously. It passed the Senate almost unanimously. So then it had to go back to the House. And Davey Hyatt motioned to send that bill to the Agricultural Committee. And that motion passed. Now, remember, it wasn't just Davey Hyatt doing it. It was other members of the Rhino Caucus voting to send this bill back to the Ag Committee, and now it's dead. Well, now there's been an ethics complaint it's been filed over that ivermectin bill. And what they're saying is, and I want to thank, let's see, who wrote this? Preston Baines for this over at SC Confidential. Listen to this. Central to the complaint is that Hyatt should have recused himself from discussion, motions, and voting on the legislation due to, are you ready for this? Davey Hyatt's son working as a lobbyist for who? The pharmaceutical industry. Lander Hyatt is a lobbyist for Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, the primary trade organization representing major pharmaceutical manufacturers. Now, the implication here is that this trade organization benefits from ivermectin not being readily available. That was a conflict of interest. That conflict of interest was not disclosed. South Carolina Code 813-700 addresses the use of official position to obtain economic interest for family member or business with which associated. The complaint, filed by Health Freedom leader Dr. Andrea Lamont Nazarenko of Lexington, seeks to determine whether Hyatt violated the Ethics Reform Act. So, there you go. I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? No, I'm pretty sure it's all just a big coincidence. Well, first of all, one of the things that actually, another little wrinkle in this whole thing is that Davey Hyatt was upset. He was very upset that a member of the Freedom Caucus actually, that there was the main sponsor of this bill, actually contributed to a campaign that would go against an incumbent. So he was real mad at J. Kilmartin. He was very, very upset. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to show you. So because he is just a petty, tiny, little of a man, he sends this to the Ag Committee, where it's going to die. So glad he's not. But I'm glad he's not running for office. But I hear the guy that they're looking at replacing him with, just as bad. Just as bad. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hitting truth bombs longer than he drives off the tee. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to Stephen in Greenwood. Stephen, welcome. How are you? Stephen, are you there?
Skinny McKinney is.
Oh, Skinny, how are you?
Just short as ever, man. Ain't never gonna grow up.
Yeah, there you go. What's up?
Hey, I just want to let people know from Greenwood that the primary Republican primary voting is at Hatton Place, right, the building right beside the Eggs Up Grill, right there at the front.
Okay.
Because they haven't really advertised it. And it seems like they just don't want nobody to vote. I swear.
Okay, that's why I keep telling people before you leave the house to go vote, I don't care if it's early voting or voting on Tuesday, check scvotes.gov and make sure you know your polling place. I appreciate it, Skinny. Thank you. Well, I want you to listen to this because this is just getting to the point of being ridiculous. This is Senator Jim Banks. Why don't you listen to this?
I think the Supreme Court really got the decision wrong, but we can take Justice Kavanaugh's advice here and write a bill that all 9, even the left-wing members of the Supreme Court have all publicly agreed that babies of invaders are not eligible for birthright citizenship. All we have to do is declare the invasion. And this is a case where Congress has to act. Congress has to do something. And we were talking in the last segment about the midterm election and whether it's the Save America Act to stop illegals from voting in our elections and require voter ID, or making it clear that the babies of illegals aren't eligible for birthright citizenship by passing my bill to stop it. These are big winners for us. This is good policy, but these bills are big winners for us at the ballot box to get our voters to turn out and vote on Election Day. And President Trump makes that case to Senate Republicans. He's frustrated with the Senate. He's frustrated with Republicans, and he makes this case to us all the time. And he's so right about it that the Trump voters aren't going to show up to vote for us if we're not passing the Trump agenda.
And he's right. You see, in the Republican Party, there's two segments there. There's two factions. Number one, you've got the Republican voters. Number two, you've got the Trump voters. These people in Washington believe that everybody, and especially in the Senate, we're talking, these are the Class 1 and 2 senators. They believe that Republicans just showed up in the last election and they voted for them. John Thune thinks, oh, they voted for me. Oh, look how good I must be wonderful. They didn't vote for you, pal. You were a byproduct. You were a byproduct of people showing up and voting for Donald Trump. And now you're just standing in its way, in his way. But here's the thing, though. I mean, even Jim Banks, okay, how are you going to get it passed? You could have the greatest legislation in the history of Earth from Republicans. You're not getting above that 60-vote threshold. You're just not doing it. Sorry. That's not going to happen. I don't care who you are. These Democrats are not going to. There is no Democrat in the Senate right now that's going, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, let's vote with a Republican coming up. Those Class 3 Democrats, senators, I mean, they got an election coming up in 28. They're not going to do anything to mess it up 2 years, less than 2 years out now. Yeah, I think I'll vote with the. It's not going to happen. So the only way that it can happen is you do away with the filibuster. That's it. Anything short of that, it's not getting passed. Not going to happen. Sorry. It's a great bill. I think it's wonderful. It's not going to pass. As long as that filibuster is there and as long as John Thune is there. Here's what I would love to hear from, and unfortunately, early voting has already started for the Senate race. But here's what I want to know from these senators out there, these Senate candidates. Would you be willing to do away with John Thune as the Senate Majority Leader? If he's the guy that's blocking all of this stuff, would you be willing to vote to boot him? Because you see, that's what happens in the Senate. If you vote against, or if you actively campaign against the Senate Majority Leader, and they don't win, guess what? You get booted from your committee. You get some low-level down in the basement committee that nobody cares about. That's where you're relegated to. So that's why everybody goes, ooh, I got to vote for this guy. He's going to give me a mighty fine committee. I'm going to be on Homeland Security, or I'm going to be on Defense, or I'm going to be on the budget. Anything short of that, you're a low-level senator. But you see, John Thune will not use that same threat against these senators to get them to the 50-vote threshold where we could at least get, have J.D. Vance come from the Naval Observatory over to the Senate and sit there and cast the tie-breaking vote. John Thune will not do that. So you could have the greatest legislation in the world. You're not going to get it passed. In fact, there's a good chance that for the next year and a half, we have no bills passed in the Senate. None. So a lot of senators are staying in Washington because they support, and Jim Banks is one of them, they support the Save America Act. They want to stay through the recess. Now, one of those senators that we haven't heard anything from on this is Senator Tim Scott. You need to call Senator Tim Scott's office at 202-224-6121. That's 202-224-6121. And tell Tim Scott to stay in Washington to make sure that the Save America Act gets passed. You need to do that. Blow his phones up. Now, he's also got some other offices around the state. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to put up a way that you can text us, and I will text you back all of Tim Scott's office numbers. Okay? That's coming up in just a few minutes. I don't have it set up just yet, but it's coming. There's another little issue with Tim Scott. We hear that Tim Scott, because he's on the Senate campaign PAC, where they give all of this money to the Democrats. He's throwing a lot of money at Darlene Graham right now. But we hear that they're not going to be sending money to Ken Paxton in Texas. That's a Mitch McConnell play right there. Mitch McConnell did not give money to Herschel Walker. He didn't give money, in Georgia. He didn't give money to Masters in Arizona, and he didn't give money to Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. Those are the 3 Senate seats we lost because of Mitch McConnell. We could lose that seat in Texas to Tallarico. And if that happens, you look Tim Scott right dead in the eye and say, this is your fault. Your fault. Tim Scott's number, 202-224-6121. Let him know that he needs to stay in Washington. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Honest views, trusted news. This is the Charlie James Show
on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
text, or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones here. We're going to talk to Lisa in, where are we? Where are you calling from, Lisa? Williamston.
Williamston.
How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to mention that Fauci is a sociopath, but his experiments of the Rand Paul exposed his experiments on cats, marbles, and electric shock. Look it up.
Wait a second, cats and what?
Marbles and electric shock. You stick a marble in a cat's anus.
Oh,
shock it
no.
on the head and watch the marble shoot out. Look it up. He's a sociopath. Rand Paul exposed that.
Wow.
No, but I know, but look it up.
I'll do that. I appreciate it. Let's go to George in Greenville. George, welcome. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks, Charlie. Hey,
Yes, sir.
earlier you talked about, I got 2 points here, and I'll try to be quick. For people to call Senator Tim Scott, well, they also need to call him to tell him to stay out of this election with the NRSC and spend that money in Michigan, where he's supporting.
Oh, you still there? Oh, you got George. I'm sorry, you cut out. Give me a call back, buddy. Let's go to Phil in Campobello. Phil, welcome.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Refresh my memory. How many years had Tim Scott been in? Did he do a partial?
Yeah, he had a partial, but there's no term limits in the Senate, and he's saying that the next. Well, what we heard was he's running it again in 28. And he says, from what we hear, that's going to be his last term. But I wouldn't believe that.
No. Listen, we've got some good men running for Senate this time. And I'm hoping the 2 or 3 that are not successful will take on Tim Scott next time. I didn't know we had another senator for years. You hear from him once or twice a year.
Yeah.
He's worthless.
I get it.
voted for him.
I know.
In 2 elections, but I will not again.
And if it's not opportunity zones, you never hear from Tim Scott. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Phil. Let's go to Neil in Greenville. Neil, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Charlie.
Yeah.
Appreciate you taking my call. I'll be real quick. I want to piggyback on what that nice lady was just saying about Dr. Fauci. I've done tremendous amounts of research on Dr. Fauci over the years, and she's 100% correct. This man has done experiments on animals that you don't even want to talk about.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do the research and you're going to look up what he's done to the cats, look up his research on beagles.
That's horrible. What he did with those beagles, I swear, if I knew somebody in my neighborhood that was doing it, I'd beat the hell out of them.
You're exactly right, Charlie. It's absolutely disgusting. And any human who can decide to do that and say that they're an ethically moral person, I have questions about them. Thanks, Charlie. Have a great afternoon.
You too. I thank you, Neil. Let's go to Tim in Woodruff. Tim, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was just calling about Tim Scott, which I held him in high regard until I did some research on him. If you'll check, he is subsidized and financed by Larry Ellison. And if you do the research,
Wait a minute, you're talking about the Eliason, the guy that used to do LinkedIn, the guy that's a big Democrat donor, supported Nikki Haley.
The Oracle guy.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is he's a big Lindsey Graham supporter. So Darlene Graham is running on Ellison's money, and Tim Scott is too. So don't buy a pig in a poke.
Pretty amazing. I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you very much. All right, I've got it up now. If you want Tim Scott's numbers, Washington, D.C., Columbia, the Upstate, the Low Country, text Scott, S-C-O-T-T, to 800-9050-989. That's Scott to 800-9050-989. You'll get an email back. He'll give you all of his office phone numbers. Call him. Tell him to stay in Washington. And like the caller said, support the Senate race in Michigan. Support the Senate race in Texas. We could lose Texas. Tallarico, according to Cauchy, has got a 49% chance of winning that race. That should never be. It should never be. Another race that we should not even have to worry about is here in South Carolina. That's why we got to make sure we got the right person as the Republican nominee. Now, I want you to listen to this, all right? Now, this is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. I want you to listen to what she says about pediatricians.
What ways specifically do you believe parents are being misled in the pediatrician's office when they try to ask questions?
Pediatricians have all been taught vaccines are safe, effective, necessary, and are harmless. And each one of those statements is false. Vaccines have never been proven to be safe. They don't keep you from getting sick. You can have the vaccine and high antibody levels and still contract the illness. None of them are necessary. There are millions of unvaccinated kids in this country now that aren't sick. They don't have asthma, allergies, eczema, ADD. They don't use inhalers. They don't have chronic daily medications. And every single vaccine causes a level of harm, even if it's just at a cellular level, changing the epigenetics of that child, changing little things, shaving off a few points of their IQ that you may not know about or be able to recognize until later. Vaccines do all of those things.
What is the evidence to support that it's shaving off IQ?
Because you know that every vaccine has an ability to cause encephalitis or to cause brain swelling or cause brain edema, and all of those things lead to lower IQ. And when you have all of those toxicities in your body that your body has to take care of, you know that your body is a little bit less healthy.
There you go. Now, what is Dr. Annie Andrews? She's a pediatrician. She's a pediatrician that believes that women should have unfettered access to abortion. She's a pediatrician that believes that you should mutilate children with trans surgeries, that if your child is transitioning, you should give them hormones and puberty blockers. All of those things should be completely disqualifying in the state of South Carolina. But because, and listen, this is one of the things that I wish I could just get it through the South Carolina GOP's thick skulls that demographics are changing in South Carolina. And if you guys don't get out there and start doing some voter drives and getting some new voters on the rolls and quit relying on the old, the old guard Republicans who don't show up to vote, this state's going to be doomed because you weren't forward thinking enough to realize what was coming. I'm like Noah. I'm trying to tell you to build the ark. I'm trying to tell you to get ready and get on the ark. You're like the townspeople. Oh, it's just a little rain. Nothing to worry about. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones and talk to Patrick Henry 2.0 in Great Court. How you doing, Patrick?
Hey, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Let's not forget about Tim Scott. After BLM, he got up in front of Congress or in the Senate and boo-hooed about getting pulled over because he thought he got pulled over several times because he was black. But here's the thing. Where is the evidence of that? Why didn't he go and sue the police stations that did that to him?
Yeah.
Where was that? I mean, I will never forget he did that, and that put a bad taste in my mouth.
Didn't he say, one of the officers, the Capitol Police said, I recognize the pin, but I don't recognize you?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's exactly what he said. So interesting, but you're right about that, Patrick. I appreciate it. All right, so if you want to call Tim Scott's office, text Scott to 800-9050-989. Or you can also do this. Go to scott.senate.gov. Or you can just Google it. That's easy. scott.senate.gov. They've got a contact sheet there. I'm telling you, this is where we get our voice, and it's where our voice should be heard. Tell Tim Scott to stay in Washington and fight for the Save America Act, and tell him to nuke the filibuster. Because no legislation is going to be passed as long as that 60-vote threshold is there. I want you to listen to this. So John Thune is getting a little sick and tired of you people blaming him.
First is, there are no Democrats who are going to vote for this. All 47 voted against the SAVE Act 5 times. So let's make this an issue in the campaign. How about we go out and turn our fire on Democrats and make it about them opposing the SAVE Act? So we're not, that's the point. So we're not getting any Democrats. The second thing is.
Okay. Now let's go back and listen to what he said here. What'd you say, John Thune?
First is, there are no Democrats who are going to vote for this. All 47 voted.
All right, you got 47 Democrats. That means you got 53 Republicans, including Mitch McConnell, which we don't know where the hell he is. You're never going to get these Democrats to do it. I don't care what good intentions you have. You're never going to get the Democrats to vote for this. Ever. Because they know that's the end of them. They know that's the end of them. So let's take a listen here. Here we go.
Against the SAVE Act 5 times. So let's make this an issue in the campaign. How about we go out and turn our fire on Democrats and make it about them opposing the SAVE Act? So we're not, that's the point. So we're not getting any Democrats. The second thing is we are not getting rid of the legislative filibuster. The votes aren't there to do that. I've made it abundantly clear many, many times. And it seems to me some days that I'm the only one here who can count to 50 in this town, but we don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster, and we aren't flipping 10 Democrats to vote for the Save America Act.
Okay, so let's use his logic and reasoning here. We don't have the votes to do away with the filibuster. Well, if you don't have the votes to do away with the filibuster, you don't have the votes to do away with the Save America Act. That's where your job comes in. That's where your authority as the so-called leader comes in. Now, Senator Mike Lee posted this. Let's see what he says. He sounds a little positive here.
I just came from a very productive meeting with Senate Republicans, and the conversation has shifted in a very favorable direction. We're talking now much more about how best to do this, not whether to stay and work on the Save America Act, but what procedural vehicle to use in order to get this thing done. So, look, I always, this is a step-by-step process. I don't want to proclaim victory, but the conversation has moved in a favorable direction. I want to thank Senate Majority Leader John Thune and our whip, John Barrasso, for leading a very productive discussion today.
So those two realities.
So, there you go. So, we'll see what happens. But John Thune wants to use this as a wedge issue in the campaign. He doesn't want to do anything about securing our vote. He just wants to use it as a wedge issue. So, again, call Tim Scott. Tell him to stay in Washington. Text Scott to 800-9050-989. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Off to the phones we go. We'll talk to Matthew in Liberty. How you doing, Matthew?
Pretty good, Charlie. I just wanted to call and say thanks for informing us and keeping us what's going on, because I did call that 202-224-6121, and the nice lady answered the phone, and she took my concerns. I told her, Tim Scott needs to stay up there and get the Save America Act passed, and also to not be contributing to Lindsey Graham's sister's campaign. She can campaign on her own. We don't need to give her any money. That's my opinion. I wouldn't vote for her either, because I've been trying to get Graham out of there for a long time myself.
So, all right, well, good. I'm glad. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Let's go to Garden in Gaffney. How you doing, Garden?
Good, Charlie. Hey, listen, I'm up here paying $3.65 for gas.
Yeah.
And that number 12, it matters to me, and it's something that, people need to be aware of, that Russell Fry, he calls us an extra 12 cents because when he was in the State House, he helped whip the votes, and he voted for that 12 cents gas tax. That's no conservative to me. He doesn't care about our kitchen table issues.
Well, I tell you what, and how well has that whole plan worked out?
It hasn't worked out well because we're paying too much for it, and he's the number one cause for us to pay that for how much it is, because he sits there and says that he cares about us and cares about the domestic issues. Well, if he cared about domestic issues, then why did he support and pass and help get votes for the 12 cents gas tax?
That's right. I appreciate it, Garden. Thank you very, very much. I mean, that is certainly something to take into consideration. And the fact that we got that gas tax, and we can't even see the benefits of it. Let's go to Eugene and Pauline. What's going on, Eugene?
Hey, Charlie.
Hey,
I heard at 3 o'clock, I heard he's talking about that flu vaccine. They said they approved the use of it.
Yeah.
And they said that it was the same stuff that made the COVID go away. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's false advertising.
Right? I mean, yeah, of course they're saying that. Because the pharmaceutical companies are making billions off of that junk.
And then they said they wanted to start by giving it to old people. That kind of spooky, because it seems like they want to get rid of folks.
Yeah, maybe so. I appreciate it, Eugene. Listen, that flu vaccine, that's your decision. You make that decision, but be informed. Be informed. I don't get the flu vaccine. My doctor, my doctor's office always sending me notes and hey, your flu vaccine, you might want to get the flu vaccine. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Not going to get it. Hey, you might want to get that shingles vaccine. Not going to get that either. Sorry. Now you got to do your Cologuard. Oh, man. Dang it, I hate that. That's the least fun thing of all. So yeah. So they're always pushing something new on you. Anyway, WRD Talk Line 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Well, the gubernatorial candidate in Wisconsin, the Democrat named Francesca Hong, she's a real piece of work. Want you to listen to what she said about Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities.
Wait a minute. How? Hush. How is it painful? How is it painful? That I don't get. So she took a lot of grief about that. A lot of grief. It's a pain. Oh, she wasn't in favor of Thanksgiving. Thought it should be done away with. But now listen to what she's saying.
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Because I love Thanksgiving. Yep. I don't want to cancel it. I actually love it. We bring, it's kind of in-laws and family members and their in-laws, and it's a big event.
Oh, but wait a minute. What about all the pain? What about all the pain it causes in our communities? Oh. You see, that didn't poll very well for her. So now all of a sudden this is the same woman that said that she got up. Are you ready for this? She got up and left a restaurant because there were too many old white people in there. Those words came out of her mouth. Too many old white people in here, so what does she do? She marries a white guy, of all things. So she's married to a white guy. Kamala Harris married to a white guy. AOC, white guy. Let's go to Ray. Where are you? You're in Jones Ridge, North Carolina. How you doing, Ray?
Yes, sir. Doing good.
I'm doing great. What's up, man?
I'm getting fed up with the communists. I'm an old soldier is what I am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I took an oath to, stand up for the Constitution, stand up for foreign or domestic. And that oath don't go away. But I told him, if a president wants to get something started, just give us old men a call. And we'll be ready to stand up.
I think a lot of them do. There was actually, I appreciate it, there was the Communism Act of 1954. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the Communism Act Communism Control Act of 1954? Declared the Communist Party an instrumentality of conspiracy to overthrow the government rather than a legitimate political party. Labor unions prohibited members of communist organizations from holding leadership roles or serving in representative capacities in labor unions. Well, enforcement, probably pretty tough. Probably pretty tough. Well, we'll see. Michael is in Greenville. Michael, welcome.
How you doing this afternoon, Charlie?
I'm doing good. What's up, man?
So, swapping horses in midstream here. My issue is all of a sudden we start getting these campaign ads against Ralph Norman setting this Chinese crap. Where'd that come from, and how can they back it?
Which Chinese crap? I haven't seen those ads.
Well, they're saying that Ralph Norman's supporting Chinese whatever.
Oh,
and,
because of data centers?
No, Mark Lynch is throwing a bunch of crap out there. He's slinging the manure.
That I don't know. I'm going to have to look. I'm going to have to look at that to weigh an opinion on that. I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD,
the voice of the Carolinas.
Tap and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Have you noticed how many companies, you know what amazes me is when Sheila and I, we don't really watch network television. If I watch network television, it's usually golf or football, college football only. But when we stream, it is amazing the amount of ads that are in Spanish. Here in the United States of America, we have ad after ad. And listen, I know they're on our stream too. They're everywhere. All of these companies' business models is to include the legal and the illegal alien community in their advertising. Okay? That to me is crazy. A lot of these companies have it built into their company culture that they support illegal immigrants. They literally do. Now, they don't advertise that. They don't publicize that, but it's there. A lot of these companies think that, man, if you got rid of all these illegal aliens, that's going to hurt our bottom line. We can't have that. Instead of doing what's best for this country, they're doing what's best for their bottom line. In other words, they think that immigration enforcement is bad for business. Southwest Airlines is pushing back hard against efforts to detain illegal immigrants at U.S. airports. That's according to a new report. A report from the Wall Street Journal highlights a July 25th incident in which an Immigrations and Customs agent tried to board a Southwest Airlines jet in Dallas. The agent was prevented from carrying out his duties by the airline. Dallas-based Southwest staff refused to share passenger information with ICE. The Wall Street Journal cited a source it did not name as saying that in recent weeks, about a half a dozen other incidents involving Southwest have taken place. The incidents occur as ICE has been broadening their efforts to arrest illegal aliens at airports like San Francisco, Miami, Kansas City, Missouri. Last month, between 1 and 3 dozen arrests per day were made at airports. The Wall Street Journal indicated Southwest is not the only airline that threw up roadblocks to arresting illegal immigrants. They didn't name the other carriers. Southwest said in a statement that it follows the law and wants to provide travelers a safe experience. The airline said it has policies in place to ensure appropriate legal documentation is presented by law enforcement personnel before any information about customers is shared. Airline industries officials want to clarify the tactics that ICE use, with clear preference for detaining illegal immigrants at TSA checkpoints rather than on planes. But sometimes they get through, and we need to get them. Southwest, shame on you. Let's go to Don up in Batcave. How you doing, Don?
No, it's John.
Oh, John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What I wanted to talk about was the voter fraud that the Chinese are doing with the Chinese licenses and stuff.
Yeah.
That they did in Georgia. They had like 400 votes.
Right.
And what I was getting at is if Biden had this happen and he got voted in, which everyone thinks the election was stolen, that he would be an illegitimate president.
Yeah.
And that if that's the case, then all his pardons would be fraud.
Yep. Everything he signed would be.
And that would make him a criminal and all the people he pardoned, even Fauci. And Fauci had millions of people die on his behalf. And
yeah, he was responsible for that.
And companies lost businesses and everything. And what it is they created fear in the American people that it just went on. And when fear happened, people were controlled. That's what I had to say.
There you go. All right, John, I appreciate it, buddy. Somebody wanted to know, they said, can Charlie please repeat what to say to Tim Scott's office? Here's a couple things. Number one, Tim Scott, stay in Washington. Fight for the Save America Act. Do not go on recess. Stay in Washington with these other senators that are there. You're going to be in good company. You got 20 others. You got Mike Lee, Rick Scott, Tommy Tuberville, Jim Banks, Ashley Moody, Darlene Graham. Oh, you'll be happy to spend time with her. Bill Haggerty, Katie Britt, Todd Young, Marsha Blackburn, Eric Schmidt, Dave McCormick, Roger Marshall, Jim Risch, Ted Cruz, Mike Crapo, John Husted, James Langford, Ted Budd, Josh Hawley. Those are all your buds. Go hang out in Washington with them through the recess, if John Thune calls it. And number two, nuke the filibuster. And I don't know how many times I got to say this. We are not going to have a piece of legislation passed. I don't care what the House does. We're not going to have a piece of legislation passed in the Senate as long as that filibuster is there. So those two things for Tim Scott. Stay in Washington. Nuke the filibuster. Pass the Save America Act. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When he's not mowing his yard, he's mowing down liberal nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Here's a breaking weather alert from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. A severe thunderstorm warning continues until 6 p.m. this evening for Jackson, Transylvania, Oconee, and Pickens counties. This storm has the potential for both large hail and strong straight-line winds. Hail the size of quarters and winds up to 60 miles an hour are likely as it pushes northeast at around 15 miles an hour. For your safety, stay inside and away from windows until the storm passes. Large hail and strong winds can easily shatter glass, causing injury. If you're caught outside, take shelter in a sturdy building or a hardtop car. Take shelter now. Once again, a severe thunderstorm warning continues until 6 p.m. this evening for Jackson, Transylvania, Oconee, and Pickens counties. Remember, this storm has the potential for hail the size of quarters and winds up to 60 miles an hour are likely. I'm meteorologist Derek Height from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
What is the saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't think this really counts in this situation, but I certainly understand it. The Socialist Party is now going after the Democrats. And they're being fairly successful. They're being more successful than I thought they were going to be. In fact, Abdul El-Sayed won his race the other night in Michigan. And the Democrats spent $60 million supporting Haley Stevens against Abdul El-Sayed. $60 million. El-Sayed, Abdul, he hangs around with this guy named Hassan Piker. Now, I want you to listen to what Hassan Piker said about the Democrats. Now, imagine him when he's talking here. He is literally wearing a Mao Zedong suit. Okay? Get that picture in your head.
No more to Trumpism, but no more to the Democrats who compromise, who conciliate, and who betray us. No more to the fascist reactionaries, but no more to the Democrats who will collaborate and cooperate with the fascists, who will fund ICE, who will fund Israel, who will help poison the planet, who will stiff workers and help bosses. We don't need those Democrats anymore. In fact, we have a message. We are coming. We are unbossed, we're unbought, we're unbowed, and we will become undeniable.
There you go. So all right. Yeah. That's Hassan Piker. That's not the most radical things he said. I want you to listen to how he feels about his hero, Mao Zedong. Wait a minute. Hold on. Here it is.
I got stopped by a cop who thought I was like making fun of Mao Zedong, which I never would. And never will. Mao Zedong is one of the great leaders of this world. Okay, a man who changed the entire universe, the entire planet. Okay, for real. Yes, I mean there was a lot of excesses. Let's be real, but the People's Republic of China would not exist without Mao Zedong.
A lot of excesses. Like 60 million people being murdered directly or indirectly by Mao Zedong? Those are just excesses. Sorry about your excess. Oh, I hear your husband got excessed. Yes, he was excessed by Mao Zedong. It was just an excess. That's all it was. Excess. Now I want you to listen to what he says about landlords that aren't renting out their apartments.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those and murder those in the street. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist bloods, dude.
Yeah, that sounds like a real cool guy, doesn't it? He sounds like, yeah, dude. Sounds like a real cool guy. So he's the guy that El-Sayed's hanging around. He's also the guy that said that America deserved 9/11. Well, Bernie Sanders, don't you think a comment like that should be condemned?
To give you an example, one of the more controversial ones is that Piker has said America deserved 9/11. Are you comfortable with that association?
No, I am not. I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that are making sense to a lot of people. I think, we have to get above cancel culture. When you're doing radio, whatever they do, podcasts 3 hours a day, you say dumb things. I suspect if you go back over your career, there may be one or two things that you said.
You said something dumb. Don't worry about that. Oh, he told you exactly what he meant. Let's see if I can get this now.
11. Are you comfortable with that association?
Here we go. Hold on.
On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of...
He's got a whole lot of followers. He's got a whole lot of followers. So we have to tolerate Hassan Piker in order to appeal to his followers, i.e., voters. That's what he's looking for. He doesn't care about their ideology. But here's what they think. They think when all of this is over, because now you've got the red-green axis going on out there. You got the Reds, the new commies, the neo-communist, I guess. And then you've got the Greens, which are the radical Islamic Muslims. Now, the red thinks that the green is going to tolerate them when they get into power. But that is not going to happen. You see, the green faction still considers the red faction as infidels. They're just useful infidels. So after Abdul El-Sayed won his election, they've still now got to go on to the general election. Okay. Wouldn't you think this would be a good time to coalesce the party, to bring everybody into what Bernie Sanders just described as the big tent? Get everybody to know it's time to unite. What does Hassan Piker say about mending bridges?
Like everyone being like, Abdullah's a ton of work to do mending bridges. Here's the take nuke for you, okay? You are all unbelievably Islamophobic pieces of okay?
Yeah. So no mending bridges there for the Democrats in Michigan. Man. And the Democrat Party more than willing to go along with this. So now here's what we need to do, because that is the growing faction right now on the left, the communists. We never thought we'd see this day. You go back just 10, 12 years ago, and say, hey, can you imagine that people are going to be running for and winning that are openly communist? No way, Charlie, you're stupid. Shut up. But yet, you had Graham, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name up in Maine. Graham Plattner up in Maine, openly communist. If all of these women hadn't come out and talked about what a horrible predator he was, this guy was going to be the candidate. And I think he would have beaten Susan Collins. I really do. So they're tolerating this now completely. So every single candidate, every Democrat candidate must now be asked a question. Do you agree with the socialist wing of the Democrat Party? Do you support the Democrat Socialist of America? Now, here's what that's going to do. That's going to put them in the hot seat. Because, number one, if they don't support the Democrat Socialist of America, they're going to come after them. They're going to come after those people. And if they do support the Democrat Socialist of America, well, we'll see how that works out for you. I think the first person we should ask that question is Annie Andrews. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on The Drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Somebody just posted online. It was back in 24, where Dr. Annie Andrews, she's the woman that's running for Senate on the Democrat side. She posted a picture that says, "Feels like a good day to light my Fauci candle." Let me tell you what the Fauci candle was, because we've all seen this image. Jesus as the good shepherd with the little lamb around his neck. Some have it around his neck, some have him carrying the lamb because he's left the 99 and he's gone after the one. It's the same picture, but with Dr. Fauci's face. So, okay. She's also sacrilegious as well. I get you. She sees Dr. Fauci as some sort of savior. Dr. Annie Andrews does. I wonder if she regrets that today. Man. The reasons not to vote for that woman just keep growing and growing and growing. But also, somebody told me that Josh Kimbrell, State Senator Josh Kimbrell, has endorsed Darlene Graham. I haven't seen that, so I'm not sure about that. But we'll see. I don't doubt my texter, but it is possibly so. But anyway, early voting begins again tomorrow at 8:30. 8:30 to 5 tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day that you can early vote. Now, let me just reiterate this one more time. Before you leave the house to early vote, check where you are supposed to vote. Whatever county you are in, go to scvotes.gov. That's scvotes.gov, and it will have all of your early voting places there. So yesterday, early voting, first day of early voting yesterday, 22,106 people voted. Anderson County, 934. Charleston County, 686. Let's see. Greenville County, 2,228. Greenwood, 428. And Horry County, 2,563 voted yesterday. Coming in dead last was Hampton County with four people showed up to early vote. So there you go. So we'll see what happens. Sorry, somebody just sent me a link. Maybe this is the link to Josh Kimbrell. Well, let's just find out here real quick. What the heck? We'll just do it here. Here we go. Josh Kimbrell proudly endorses Darlene Graham for the U.S. Senate. He said, "I know people are fighting, sometimes nastily, over this Senate primary. I respect everyone running, but Lindsey was my good friend, and I know Darlene from my service in the South Carolina Senate. I support President Trump's pick for the U.S. Senate, Senator Darlene Graham." So there you go. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, it'll be interesting to find out tomorrow how many people, because I think we're going to see a lot fewer people voting today than yesterday, and probably a lot fewer people tomorrow than today. So hopefully everybody's going to get out there and vote on Tuesday, without a doubt. Polls are open from 7 until 7. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
So John Thune is now very upset. He's upset that you're upset with him. He's very angry about that. And he says that you should turn your fire on the Democrats. Well, listen, the Democrats are just doing what the Democrats do. We know the Democrats oppose the president's agenda. That's in their DNA. Because the president's agenda is good for America, and what's good for America is bad for the Democrat Party. So I think John Thune is misguided. He should be turning his fire on those Republicans that don't want to pass the Save America Act. And I've told you how he can do that time and time again. But there's another person in the Senate that is probably even worse than John Thune. And that's Tom Tillis of North Carolina, the so-called Republican. He was very upset on Tuesday about the weaponization of government and suggested it was worse under President Donald Trump. Now, President Trump had established this thing called the Weaponization Fund, where people that felt like they were impacted by Joe Biden weaponizing the federal government against them, they could have some sort of, recompense, if you will. Well, Tom Tillis didn't like that, mainly because some of these people would have been the J6ers, the people that were in Washington, not even necessarily at the Capitol, but people that were in Washington whose lives were ruined by Christopher Wray and Merrick Garland. I mean, ruined, because every time they got dragged into court, oh, man, they had to pay their attorneys. So this was some way for some of these people to recoup some of those losses. Well, Tom Tillis didn't like that. John Thune didn't like that. John Cornyn didn't like that. But Tom Tillis and John Cornyn, they were there like, all right, well, okay, well, you're going to keep up with this? We're not going to pass your nominee, Todd Blanche, to be Attorney General. In fact, Tom Tillis has spent the past 2 years blocking President Trump's agenda. He blocked Todd Blanche's nomination. He and John Cornyn, they've given up on that. When he's not doing that, he's demeaning President Trump. He demeans the Save America Act. The Huffington Post and other left-wing outlets are making the most that they can out of his suggestions, but they don't seem happy that he approved Todd Blanche. Tillis and Cornyn changed their minds after President Trump threatened to bring up the $1.8 billion slush fund again. Well, that's dead for now. But the weaponization against Republicans was horrendous and put thousands in prison, literally thousands, and bankrupted them. Democrats went after Donald Trump with bogus cases. They did the same thing to all of his key allies. They literally operated like Stalinists. That's crazy. So John Thune is in the Senate right now. His main purpose in the Senate is to block President Trump. Block President Trump. But John Thune wants to go after the Democrats. Okay, there you go. Well, President Trump, again, not only, and we saw this during the first administration, not only was President Trump fighting the Democrats, he was fighting Republicans as well. Republicans like John McCain, Republicans like Lindsey Graham. Wonder how Lindsey felt about the Weaponization Act. So now he's actually having to fight the press. Because a couple of stories are out there right now. One story is that, now think about this. Think about you're a news organization, and somebody leaks some information that says that the United States is dangerously low on weapons and ammunition. We are dangerously low. Well, who does that benefit? That benefits the enemy. Since when do news organizations publish unverified information that could actually help the enemy. Well, they're doing it. Fox News did it. Oh, it's incumbent on us to bring you this story. Oh, it's bad. Everything's bad. Everything's miserable. Everything's horrible. That's crazy. Then you got another senior or a high-level official in Washington. They actually had President Trump's plans or knew of President Trump's plan in Iran. They take it to the allies, so-called allies over in the Middle East, who also shared that with Iran. That's treason. They should go to jail for that. There was a time when you would have gone to jail for that. If you were a reporter and you leaked something like that, you would have been stuffed and cuffed and maybe never heard from again. But they don't have that fear anymore. They really don't. So we got John Thune, we got Tom Tillis, now we got John Cornyn, all trying to block the president's agenda. To do what? I mean, Trump's not running for office again. They're literally doing it to hurt this country. Shame on them. Shame on every single one of them. I wouldn't give you a dime for any of them. But that's what they do. And now, there's a new story out there right now. President Trump is very unhappy with Pete Hegseth. Trump's going to fire Pete Hegseth. No, he's not. President Trump is very happy with Pete Hegseth. In fact, he put out a statement on Truth Social today. So these people that are putting out all of these bogus stories, you're part of the problem. Literally. No, you're not you are the problem. Let's go to Robert in Mills River. He wants to talk about Dr. Fauci. What's up, Robert?
Hey, I wonder what he put in that shot, Charlie, that he wanted everybody to have that shot so badly for it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they wanted everybody. It didn't matter where you worked or anything. That people lost their jobs over this.
They sure did.
And so many little kids died from taking that jab.
Young men especially.
Young football players.
Yeah.
Young football players on the field died from taking.
That's right.
So what they put in that shot that was so good.
Well,
whatever
it was, they knew it was there and they did nothing about it, Robert. In fact, they lied about it. In fact, Dr. Fauci, actually, after he took the Moderna shot, he had a heart problem. Do you remember that being reported in the news? Do you remember Dr. Fauci talking about that? No, you don't. I saw a video, it was just a couple nights ago. Go back and look at it. All of these news anchors just falling out. We didn't see that before. We didn't see that before. We haven't seen it since. I mean, there were news anchors just by the dozens, giving a stand-up at a news event or something like that. All of a sudden, they're on the ground. That hasn't happened in the past couple of years. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
So we got that list of senators that I read to you not long ago that are staying in Washington to vote for the Save America Act. I know there's another thing that those 20 senators need to do. I'll tell you about that coming up in just a second. Let's go to Clinton. And I'm sorry, who is this?
Well, it's Clinton Caller.
Okay, Clinton Caller. Welcome. What's up?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to let you know when that COVID thing first come out, everything like that, it hadn't jumped across the sea yet. And we heard of it on the news and things like that. And I told the guys around me, I says, there's something coming here bad. It's coming bad. It's orchestrated. It's man-made. I says, don't believe anything what the media, the news, and everybody and all these people's going to tell you. I says, buckle down and get ready. And they like, come on, man. You know, I said, okay, get ready.
Yeah.
So, well, it did jump, and it came here, and it's devastating and stuff. The most devastating thing of it was the vaccine, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, my organization I work with, they offered a day off of work and $100 if you get vaccinated.
Wow.
I told everybody, I said, do not do it. Do not do it. And most of them didn't. Some of them did, but then under the awning where everybody meets up around the picnic table, you know, at the end of the day and stuff and all. My supervisor, he has the audacity or whatever you would say to turn to me and tell me by name. Up there in the municipal, they want to know your vaccine status. I said, oh, really?
Yeah.
And so all eyes is on me. And I said, I'll tell you what. I said, when they tell me their STD status on all of them, I'll tell them my status on vaccine.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you. All right.
I did.
There you go, Clinton Caller. I appreciate it. But here was the thing, though. I mean, I thought there were HIPAA laws. I thought you couldn't talk about anybody's medical condition. I thought, oh, no, but this is COVID. This is special. This is different. No. Everything, no. HIPAA laws didn't matter. Could you imagine? I mean, I'll just never forget the Peace Center when they wanted everybody to have their little vaccine passport. Remember that? And I was thinking, man, could you do that with AIDS? Could you do that with AIDS? Could you have an AIDS passport? I don't see a card there. Oh, looks like you got AIDS. Can't come into this show. Sorry. You couldn't do that with anything else. You have cancer? Oh, sorry. Nothing. But by golly, you could ask about your vaccine status. That was just another one of those civil liberties that we gave up during COVID. Well, now, guess what's happening over in China? China's COVID-19 positivity rate has exceeded 20% for the first time this year, which experts will say will likely lead to a high epidemic level. Meanwhile, Chinese doctors and residents posted on social media and told the Epoch Times that hospitals have been packed with patients, creating a shortage of medicine for COVID-19. The test positivity rate for COVID-19 continued to rise July 20th through the 26th, according to the latest National Sentinel surveillance data of acute respiratory infectious diseases, released by the Chinese. The rate reached 20.3% in respiratory samples from patients with influenza-like illness at Sentinel hospitals nationwide. Oh, it's going to go to another epidemic. Get ready. A July 27th report by state media Farmers Daily cited Chinese medical experts warning that when COVID-19, wait a minute, I thought everybody was vaccinated. Hold on. How can this even be possible? I thought we had all the vaccines. We should have no COVID, right? Currently, the epidemic level is classified as medium prevalence level, which was raised on the week of the 29th. There you go. Yeah, they're going to try it again. Absolutely. Because I told you, when all of this was going on, when we were all under the COVID cloud, I said, this is the power that they wish they always had. And by golly, if there's one, the most addictive drug in the world is power. That's just it. And they want to get some of that back. Let's go to JD in Greenville. JD, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I love your show.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. Listen to it every day.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, even the local news is saying if you voted in June, you cannot vote in this, voting session. Even if you voted democratically.
Now, if you voted Democrat, you cannot vote in this primary.
Right, but they're not saying that. But they're not saying that the Republicans can vote.
Any Republican can vote. Any
Right, but they're not
Republican
saying
can
that.
vote.
Even like local Fox is not saying that at all.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
I just want to put that out there because I've heard it now 3 or 4 days in a row because I get home around 5 or 6 and I listen to them and then I have you on and they're just not saying that. So
you know what? I'm going to have to go back and take a listen to some of their broadcasts and see exactly what they're saying. I appreciate it, JD. The only people that cannot vote in this special primary are Democrats who voted in the Democrat primary in June. If you voted in the Democrat primary in June, you cannot vote in this primary. Everybody else can. If you're a Republican and you voted in June, you can vote. If you're a Republican and didn't vote in June, you can vote. If you're a Democrat and didn't vote in June, unfortunately, because our state legislature stinks, you can vote in this primary. So don't listen to that. Don't listen to those people. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When the left spins, Charlie sets it straight. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones and talk to Mike from Easley. Mike, welcome. How are you?
Hey, are you with me?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Okay, yeah. I'm in Williamston, but
Okay.
That's no problem. But no, I tell you, this is my first time calling.
Well, you're going to get the bell.
Fantastic.
There you go. What's up?
Usually I don't call because I just normally, I listen to you and I listen to Tara and Bill and everything. But
Yeah.
With the misinformation that was spewing today between the Mark Lynch ad and people saying that Fox Carolina was saying the wrong information about voting. Scotty Hunter this morning and everything was saying exactly what you were saying on who can vote, how to find out who can vote, and where to vote. So
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Absolutely. I did call. I didn't tell your call screener this, but I did call Tim Scott's office and relayed to them that he needs to stay in Washington. He does not need to take a recess. Get this SAVE Act passed, and or we can make sure that in 2028 that he has a permanent recess.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Take care of that. But the Mark Lynch ad, I tell you, and Tara says this herself. Ralph Norman has got a 98% conservative voting record with the Heritage Foundation.
Right.
And I looked it up myself, and he's one of the most staunch Trump supporters as far as the tariffs, as far as everything goes. And he is definitely America first. And that Mark Lynch ad, I didn't have anything against Mark Lynch before, but with that ad that he endorsed, I definitely have something against him now to endorse that misleading ad.
Okay.
So that was it. But hope you have a great afternoon. It's great speaking to you. My honor.
Well, I appreciate it, Mike. The honor is mine. Thank you so much. And here's the thing about going negative. You got to be very careful. You got to be extremely careful when you go negative in ads. Now, is it an effective tool at times? Absolutely. 100%. But you better be ready. And you better make sure that your record or your behavior or whatever it is squeaky clean. Because it could very well blow back on you, and we'll see what happens with that. So, President Trump today has signed an executive order, 2 executive orders actually, aimed at limiting birthright citizenship after the Supreme Court struck it down back in June. He said, we have a very unfortunate decision by the Supreme Court concerning birthright citizenship, so we're making adjustments. We all know that the old anchor babies, 2 illegal aliens sneaking over the border, having a baby on American soil, and all of a sudden they're an American citizen? How does that work? That was never, ever what the 14th Amendment was about. That was about the children of slaves. That was it. Even in some of the writings, the explanation of the bill, it said, listen, we're not talking about aliens. We're not talking about people that you come here, oh, darling, we're going to Disney World. And you go to Disney World and, oops, she's in labor. Next thing you know, you got it was never meant to be for that reason. Now we've got birthright tourism. I mean, they've found all of these people down places down in Mexico. They sell that as a package. Yeah, the Supreme Court got that wrong. Let's see. Trump's first executive order he signed today identifies certain categories of children of non-citizens who are not entitled to birthright citizenship. The White House said those categories are consistent with historical exceptions recognized by the Supreme Court. The second order directs the Secretaries of State and Homeland Security to end the practice of birth tourism when a foreign national travels to the U.S. for the sole purpose of giving birth to a child. He said people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building business around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. He's exactly right. Let's go to Cassandra in Greenville. Cassandra, welcome.
Hi, Charlie. didn't think I'd be talking about COVID again, but
I know. Here we are, right?
Yeah, I know. But I think this is something folks really need to hear. First of all, just a quick one here, that Webster Dictionary actually had to change the definition of vaccine. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. Quickly, I go into my Confucius. When words lose their meaning, people lose their freedom.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is actually from the 5th International Public Conference on Vaccination, and it was sponsored by the National Vaccine Information Center. And they say the take-home message here is that these injections are not vaccines. They do not prevent infection, they do not render you immune, and they do not prevent transmission of the disease.
Yeah.
Instead, they alter your genetic coding, turning you into a viral protein factory that has no off switch. What's happening here is a medical fraud of unprecedented magnitude, and it really needs to be stopped before it's too late for a majority of people. And that came out, that was in December of 2020.
Yeah.
That came out. So I just wanted to share that with you and the audience because that says a lot.
Exactly right. And it would, it was conservatives out there that were like, wait a minute, this isn't a vaccine. So they said, okay, well, let's change the definition of what a vaccine. But that's the way the Democrats do every single time. I mean, they can't even define what a woman is.
I know,
right?
Charlie. I know. That's really tough to do, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right, Cassandra, we appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. We'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, this is Tara. Start your day with common sense information and opinion with me on The Tara Show tomorrow morning, starting at 6. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Richard in Dallas. How you doing, Richard?
I'm good, Charlie. Hope you are.
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Hey, listen, I heard, I'm pretty sure it was your show, one of your texters said this first. And more I think about it, more I'm about to believe it, that Darlene is being granted birthright senatorship.
Yeah, that's the phrase that's going around now. Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, so many of them getting in on it. Why shouldn't she?
Well, there you go. We'll see what happens. I appreciate it, Richard. Thank you. I got this text a few minutes ago. Charlie went to Powdersville to early vote today and was told the only location to early vote was in Anderson at the county voter registration office. Yep, that's it. I've been looking through these counties, and each county has one place, and that's usually the voter registration office. Now, Greenville, you're going to go to McAllister Square there at the back entrance. Let's just go down to Spartanburg real quick and take a look at that. Spartanburg at the county voter registration office. That's basically, sorry. Actually, Richland has two places, the county voter registration office and the Ballantyne Community Center. But most of the counties up here only have one place. All right, so let's just see. Let's go to like Pickens County voter registration office. So that's why I tell you, if you're going to early vote tomorrow, all right, now, I want you to keep this in mind too. I know it's complicated. Tomorrow at 5, when early voting stops, everything that I'm telling you right now changes. Okay? So if you're going to early vote tomorrow, no matter when it is, if it's tomorrow or Tuesday, go to scvotes.gov. It's only going to take a minute, literally. You go to scvotes.gov. There's a little yellow panel on the right side of the screen. It says, early voting for U.S. Senate Special Republican Party primary. You click on that. Click for more information. Then you go down to your county that you're voting in, and you click on that county, and it will show you exactly where you're supposed to vote. Now, that's coming up tomorrow. If you're thinking about early voting tomorrow, don't leave the house. Don't leave work without checking that website to make sure you're going to the right place. I don't want you running all over the place. I mean, for some people, it's going to be a pretty good drive anyway, but I don't want you wasting your time when you could be voting. So go to scvotes.gov to find out where you're supposed to vote. Now, at 5 o'clock tomorrow, all that's going to change. Okay? 5 o'clock tomorrow, when early voting stops, then you're going to be going back to, I want to say your regular voting place, but I'm not even going to say that because some of those places are changing. So you need to find out. Now, for that, what you're probably going to have to do is go online and let me find it for you. Voters, find my polling place. You put that in there. For that, you're going to have to put in your county, your first and last name, your date of birth, and your social last 4 digits of your social. That will tell you exactly where you're supposed to vote. Okay? So just get ready for that. Again, all of that changes tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be in regular voting on Tuesday. Those hours are going to be from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. Early voting was 8:30 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Tuesday is going to be 7 to 7. I'm going to recap all of this for you tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday if you're thinking about voting. And just to let you know, I will be on the air later than usual on Tuesday night. I'm going to be bringing you the election results. I don't predict this is going to be I don't think it's going to be a long period of time before we know who the two people are that are going to be going in the runoff. And yes, this is going to go for a runoff. But I'll be bringing you all of the election results from the upstate, all over the state, and giving you all the information that you need. That's coming up on Tuesday night with a special election night coverage right here on News Talk 98.9 WORD. Tomorrow is Friday, again, last day of early voting. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I don't know about you guys. So with all this rain, I got to cut my grass. All right, y'all have a lovely evening. Be careful out there. The roads are wet. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.